Welcome to this explainer. Today we're jumping right into what I like to call the Proxmox paradox. It all kicked off with a question from a complete beginner, a question that sounds totally backward at first, but it accidentally ignited this massive, super passionate debate across the whole home lab community. We're going to break down the hardware, weigh both sides of the argument, and figure out a sane, step-by-step path to finally mastering the command line.
So here's the exact question that made seasoned home labbers do a total double take. Is learning Proxmox a good way to learn Linux? Now, the person asking this had this beautifully scrappy setup. We're talking a basic NAS, a tiny Raspberry Pi 4, a borrowed Optiplex running Mint, and they were seriously eyeing those new Beelink mini PCs. Basically, they were exhausted from just blind copy and pasting commands from random internet threads, holding their breath and hoping nothing blew up. Their goal? To just conquer the command line once and for all. They fully admitted their approach might be completely backwards, but honestly, they didn't care.
All right, let's dive into this. When that question dropped, the community didn't just lean one way. Oh no, it split right down the middle into two very distinct, very loud camps. On one side, we've got Camp 1 planting their flag firmly in the Learn Linux First dirt, and on the other, Camp 2 shouting that you should absolutely use Proxmox to build a playground. We're going to explore both of these because, honestly, they both reveal some deep truths about how we actually learn complex tech. Let's start with Camp 1.
Camp 1 operates on this really brutal truth. They say using Proxmox to learn Linux is, quote, like buying a garage to learn how to drive. Ouch, right? It's a harsh metaphor, but honestly it hits the nail right on the head. Proxmox, even though it's got Debian Linux purring under the hood, is absolutely not a normal desktop built for beginners. It's a hardcore hypervisor. It's got its own incredibly dense web UI, wildly complex storage models, and clustering concepts. Like sure, a garage holds your cars, but staring at the walls of a garage is never going to teach you clutch control.
Following that exact logic, Camp 1 issues a massive, flashing red warning. The host is not your playground. You really have to internalize this. Treating your bare metal Proxmox host like some disposable sandbox is just a straight-up recipe for disaster. I mean, sure, you can securely log into it and run commands, but that host, that's the literal floor beneath every single virtual machine you're going to build. If you start poking around in there, messing with network drivers, and you break your connection, well, your entire playground goes dark, and you are totally locked out of all your running projects.
Which brings us to another fantastic insight from the community. Don't confuse the launchpad with the rocket. Look, Proxmox is incredible at teaching you infrastructure. You'll learn virtualization, automated backups, network bridges, the whole 9 yards. But here's the real kicker. You could spin up Windows VMs on Proxmox all day long and literally learn zero Linux. The Launchpad gets you off the ground, absolutely, but you still have to learn how to operate the OS parked inside the rocket if you actually want to fly the thing.
So, because of those pretty steep pitfalls, Camp 1 suggests a far simpler route for absolute beginners, the VirtualBox alternative. If your only goal is to learn pure Linux, just grab a standard desktop environment, throw Ubuntu, Fedora, or Mint on a machine. Make it your daily driver so you're actually forced to fix it when it inevitably breaks. Or, if you want the absolute lowest stakes setup without messing with your main rig, just install VirtualBox. No bare metal installs, no agonizing over storage pools, no midnight networking panics. Just spin up a VM right on your current desktop, totally wreck it, and spin up another.
But right about here is where Camp 2 enters the chat with a radically different and frankly super exciting counter-argument. See, beginners usually freeze up at the command line because of what we can call the fear of permanence. It's that very real, totally paralyzing anxiety that one wrong keystroke is going to nuke the entire system forever. Camp 2 argues that Proxmox completely vaporizes that fear. Because you're isolating your experiments inside virtual machines, it introduces the freedom to fail. And suddenly, your curiosity gets way louder than your anxiety.
Think about how blazing fast this learning cycle becomes when you're backed by a hypervisor. Let's say you want to figure out how a web server works. Boom, you spin up a fresh Debian environment. You aren't burning installation files to flash drives or spending an hour partitioning physical disks. It takes, what, minutes? And just like that, you have a pristine, isolated box totally walled off from your main rig, ready to go.
Then, and this is the magic part, you take a snapshot. This is your ultimate video game save state. And after that, you break things. I mean, go absolutely feral. Tear down the firewalls, totally scramble the user permissions, accidentally delete a critical directory. You can turn that specific VM into an absolute smoking crater, and your main host is just sitting there perfectly fine. The VM might be an active crime scene, but the rest of your network doesn't even know anything happened.
Once it's completely beyond repair, you literally just click a button and roll right back to your snapshot like it never even happened. Or maybe you get bored and want to pivot completely to try Alpine Linux because you heard it's ultra lightweight. Or maybe Ubuntu for the massive software library. This hypervisor workflow is actually a known cure for the dreaded distro hopping. Instead of wiping your poor laptop every time you want to try a shiny new flavor of Linux, Proxmox lets you build an entire stable zoo. Clone them, delete them, rebuild them, just have fun with it.
Now, we absolutely can't talk about this trend without mentioning the hardware making it possible: mini PCs. The community specifically points to little beasts like the N100B Links. We aren't talking about giant screaming rack servers that sound like jet engines and heat up your entire house. These things are incredibly tiny, surprisingly cheap, and whisper quiet. But cram enough memory in there, and one of these little boxes can easily juggle a dozen VMs at the exact same time. It's wild. It just proves that real, highly capable infrastructure literally fits right in the palm of your hand now. It makes jumping into a home lab feel incredibly accessible.
So, the million-dollar question: how do we actually combine the cautious wisdom of Camp 1 with the fearless, chaotic energy of Camp 2? Well, the community gives us a really practical synthesis. Let's call it the sane path forward. This is a step-by-step game plan designed to give you the absolute best of both worlds, totally skipping the midnight headaches.
Step 1 on this sane path is simple. Keep the host boring. Save the chaos for the VMs. You install Proxmox using a standard boring guide, and then you do absolutely zero experimenting on the actual host. Leave it entirely stock. You create your VMs, you take your snapshots, and you do all your weird, risky command line tinkering inside those isolated little boxes. Remember, protect the floor of your playground at all costs.
Step 2. Build projects you actually, genuinely care about. Spin up a Jellyfin server to stream your own movie collection. Set up Pi-hole to nuke ads across your entire Wi-Fi network. Or maybe build a secure VPN so you can dial into your house remotely. There's a profound truth here. A lab with no actual purpose is really just a museum. You only truly learn Linux when it is the one thing standing between you and getting your actual, everyday digital life working. When a service you actually use goes offline, the scramble to fix it teaches you 10 times more than any dry, fake exercise ever could.
Look, learning pure Linux on a single, basic desktop setup can sometimes feel a bit like doing homework. Sure, it's safe, but it's totally isolated. Proxmox, on the other hand, forces you to grapple with a living, breathing ecosystem. It feels like real infrastructure. Suddenly, you aren't just memorizing random shell commands, you're actually learning how automated backups work, how storage pools function, and you're experiencing that very real, very quiet panic of hoping your services boot back up successfully after a system reboot.
And by throwing yourself into that ecosystem, you discover the greatest gift Proxmox actually offers: the ultimate reset button. See, real Linux confidence, it doesn't just hit you in one single miraculous lightning bolt. It creeps up on you. It arrives after the 5th time you've had to resurrect a broken remote connection. It hits you that one night when you suddenly realize system logs are actually little diagnostic clues meant to help you, not just endless walls of punishment text. Proxmox gives you the safe stage to actually go through all those messy trials.
So, at the end of the day, Proxmox isn't going to just hand you Linux confidence on a silver platter. It's not going to do the hard learning for you, and it certainly won't make the command line look any less weird on day one. But what it absolutely does is make your mistakes incredibly, unbelievably cheap. And honestly, when it comes to mastering complex tech, cheap mistakes are pure rocket fuel. So after digging into this whole paradox, checking out the mini PC hardware, and mapping out a sane path forward, I want to leave you with this. Proxmox is way more than just software. It is literally permission to fail faster so you can learn deeper. That ultimate reset button is just sitting there waiting for you. The only question is, are you ready to build your own playground and start breaking some things?